relationship between human beings and material conditions. Throughout the course of history, human beings have always existed in a close relationship with material conditions. Material conditions are not only essential for human survival, but also serve as the foundation for social, cultural, and intellectual development. However, understanding the role of material conditions should not stop at the simple question of whether they exist or not. Rather, it requires a deeper examination of how material conditions influence human beings and how humans should respond to their influence. First of all, from a biological perspective, human beings cannot live without material conditions. As living organisms, humans require food to sustain energy, water to maintain metabolic processes, air to breathe, and shelter to protect their bodies. Without these minimum material conditions, life cannot be sustained. Vietnamese folk wisdom captures this truth succinctly. Only when basic needs are met can moral values be upheld. This proverb affirms that material conditions are a necessary prerequisite for human existence and form the foundation upon which spiritual and moral values can develop. From an evolutionary perspective, human material needs initially arose from the instinct for survival. During the process of evolution, humans gradually lost the natural fur that once protected their bodies, which forced them to create clothing from animal skins and plant materials to cope with harsh natural environments. In primitive societies, humans dressed to survive and ate to stay alive. All material needs were directed toward a single goal: survival. This demonstrates that material needs are not the product of indulgent consciousness, but rather the inevitable outcome of biological adaptation. As human history progressed to more advanced stages, the role of material conditions extended beyond mere survival and became the foundation for the formation of society and civilization. With the development of agriculture, animal husbandry, and the accumulation of surplus resources, societies began to differentiate, and the division of labor emerged. This transformation gave rise to culture, education, and the arts. From merely having enough to eat and wear, humans gradually moved toward eating well and dressing well. Clothing was no longer just a means of covering the body, but became a symbol of social status, cultural identity, and aesthetic expression. Thus, as material conditions improved, their social and cultural functions expanded accordingly. This transformation can be more clearly explained through the lens of psychology, particularly Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. According to Maslow, once basic physiological needs such as food, clothing, and shelter are satisfied, human beings naturally seek higher-level needs, including safety, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. The desire to dress better, eat better, or live more comfortably is not a sign of moral deviation, but rather a reflection of the natural law of human development. However, if individuals stop at the satisfaction of material needs and treat them as the ultimate goal, they will struggle to achieve holistic development in terms of spirituality and character. From a philosophical perspective, the relationship between material conditions and consciousness is a dialectical one. Material conditions shape consciousness, yet consciousness possesses relative independence and can, in turn, influence material conditions through human practice. A society that is materially affluent but lacks moral direction and value orientation may fall into a spiritual crisis. Conversely, disregarding or denying the importance of material conditions deprives humans of the foundation needed to realize ideals and values in practice. Karl Marx emphasized that humans should not only interpret the world, but also transform it, a task that can only be accomplished on the basis of certain material conditions. In contemporary society, The relationship between humans and material conditions is particularly evident in the lifestyle of Generation Z. Born into the era of digital technology and social media, Gen Z engages with material goods not only through practical needs, but also through images, trends, and social comparison. The phenomenon of FOMO, fear of missing out, often drives consumption not from genuine necessity, but from the desire for social inclusion and recognition. A new smartphone, a trending item, or a travel experience shared on social media becomes a way to affirm one's personal value. Viewed through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, many consumption behaviors among Gen Z are closely tied to the need for belonging and esteem. However, when purchasing decisions are driven by impulsive emotions and social pressure, material possessions can easily become the primary measure of human worth. Many young people fall into a cycle of consumption, short-term excitement, followed by emptiness, and then continued purchasing, revealing a paradox of modern life. Material abundance continues to increase, while the sense of fulfillment becomes increasingly fragile. Nevertheless, it would be unfair to view Gen Z solely through a negative lens. Alongside FOMO-driven lifestyles, many young people are gradually shifting toward minimalist, sustainable, and more conscious consumption. This change reflects an evolving awareness, from being dominated by material conditions to using material resources as tools to serve life and personal growth. From all the perspectives discussed above, it can be concluded that human beings cannot live without material conditions, yet they also cannot live solely for them. Material conditions are a necessary condition for existence, while consciousness, spiritual values, and life orientation determine the depth and meaning of human life. As a well-known saying goes, human beings do not live by bread alone. When humans learn to master material conditions and place them in their proper role, material wealth becomes a foundation for reaching higher values, rather than a force that dominates and confines human existence.